Welcome, guys. This is Crypto Polaris. My name is Zia. Boy, do I have a jam-packed show today. We are going to talk about why Bitcoin's supply shock is going to shoot the price all the way to $4.45 million by 2030 and $16.54 million by 2035. I'm excited, so why don't we get this started really fast? Let me take this banner down real quick and let's just get down to business. All right, guys. So lots to talk about, quite a few slides. I'm going to go through this really fast, so stay with me, and I am going to make sure that we get into the price predictions. That's why you're here. What I want to do is to show you why there is going to be a supply shock, why this supply shock is going to give you a price shock, and share with you the catalyst that I believe are going to drive them up. Okay? So, number one, the Bitcoin power. Number two, I'm going to show you what the power behind Bitcoin is a little bit, because I've had other videos that get into all of that, and you can look at those videos. How the rules and regulations are changing everything, how the inflation is affecting the price, the ETF purchases, we're going to go through that, nation states, corporate treasuries, you can see all of that. So let's just dive right in one by one and get through this, all right? So, guys, you've seen some of these things. You really need to understand the left one. Bitcoin has no founder. Again, Bitcoin has no founder. There are no ruling foundations. It's very important to understand. There is no office. There is no website for Bitcoin. There are no paid executives, guys. So you can read all of this. You can see all of this. There is no human controlling it. It's the collective that controls what Bitcoin is. The slide in the middle, guys, if you wanted to take $2 billion worth of gold and you want to transport that, that is $2 billion worth of gold. And to the right, it's just a QR code that represents $2 billion or $10 billion or $20 billion or $20 in Bitcoin. That's how portable it is. And I wanted to share that with you. And the last one is, it's very important to understand, guys, you don't have to buy one Bitcoin. You can buy 100 or 1,000th of a Bitcoin. And the transformation is coming. And there are regulations out there that are going to change the way we denominate Bitcoins. And they're going to start talking in terms of Satoshis. So one Bitcoin, for your reference, has 100 million units of Satoshi, all right? All right, I've got other videos, you can look at it, but let's just continue through this. All right, what are the rules and regulations that have changed? So stay with me, I'm gonna go through these slides really fast because we're already 3 minutes into this. Number one, the SEC has changed the rules for the banks to be able to hold Bitcoin. Number two, Trump backs the purchase of at least 1 million Bitcoin into US strategic reserve. And I have another video that talks about that. California just passed the rules where now Californians can buy things using crypto. Very important, and more subsequent rules and regulations are coming that are very positive for the crypto industry. UK, they just removed the ban on retailers buying cryptos and ETFs. All right, next, South Korea now has a new president. He wants to create a strategic reserve of Bitcoin. He wants to be able to have stable coin and many other crypto stuff that he is making changes in South Korea. So that's very exciting. In the middle, you got Hong Kong. They are now going to allow you to move to Hong Kong and they will accept your Bitcoin as a proof that you have asset. Very exciting stuff. Look at the other one, Paraguay, a country that is now next to El Salvador, has made Bitcoin a legal tender. What does that mean, legal tender? Legal tender means you can now purchase not only using their money, but you can actually walk in and every single merchant has to accept Bitcoin. It's the law. All right, you still with me? Let's talk about inflation. Why inflation is also driving Bitcoin up. Guys, back in 2016, a median house cost $288,000. And back in 2016, you needed 664 Bitcoins to buy the same house. I won't bore you with 2020, you can look at it, but look at 2024. The same house in USD costs $434,000, but you only need 6 Bitcoins to buy the same house. This is called inflation, guys. All right. ETF, exchange traded funds. They're just like mutual funds or stocks that you buy at various brokerages that you may use, E-Trade, Charles Schwab, what have you, okay? What I'm showing you on the left are how all the ETFs that are Bitcoin ETFs are just gobbling up Bitcoin every day. BlackRock is number one. To the right, you can see this is history in the making. This ETF by BlackRock in 341 days got to $70 billion worth of Bitcoin they're holding. That is the fastest in the history of the world that an ETF grew so fast to $70 billion in 341 days. Gold took 1,691 days to get to $70 billion. You see the difference here, guys. Things are moving at lightning speed. All right, let's crank through this really fast. Nation states. On the left side, I've already talked about this. US now has a strategic reserve. Okay, Brazil, Poland, Russia, and you can see the whole list. They are now considering to follow what the US has done so far. So the game theory is on. The moment US actually goes and buys up to 1 million Bitcoin, oh my goodness, every single country will follow. There won't be enough Bitcoins. The supply shock, right? On the right, these are the countries that already own some of these Bitcoins through various methods that they have accumulated these Bitcoins. The United States leads that by almost 200,000. And most of these came through confiscation by FBI and other methods. So these are confiscation, and all of these countries actually have them, okay? But they haven't started really buying yet. And US is going to buy, as you saw. All right, stay with me, guys. Let's talk about corporate treasury. What does that mean? I've already had another video about this. That means every single company is jumping on this bandwagon of taking their USD, converting into Bitcoin. Guess what? Donald Trump, the Trump media, they are raising up to $12 billion to buy Bitcoin. They have already raised $2.3 billion. They're going to buy Bitcoin with all of that. To the right, we call it Europe's MicroStrategy, a company called the Blockchain Group, has bought $300 million worth of Bitcoin. Let's keep going. Spanish coffee chain to buy $1.1 billion worth of Bitcoin. The one on the right, you know the guy, lives right here in Florida. Okay, Cardone, he is the $5 billion Cardone Capital, just announced $100 million worth of Bitcoin. Small on a scale of other guys, but you can see what's happening. More, guys, more. Fidelity and ARK just bought $275 million worth of Bitcoin. Look to the right. Hong Kong's writer Logtech, they plan to buy $1.5 billion. More adoptions are happening. In Russia, the Bitcoin futures just opened up. You see what's happening, guys? Look at on the right. A grocery store, 1,300, almost 1,400 actually, grocery stores in 48 countries will allow you to use Bitcoin to buy what you buy in a grocery store. Are you excited? Because I am excited. Look at this one, the supply shock. It is unreal. What am I showing you on the left-hand side? These are the exchanges that you go to and others go to buy Bitcoin. These are the exchanges. They have dwindled all the way down to 123,000 Bitcoins. That's left. That's it. That's it, guys. Only 3.5 weeks ago, they had 236,000. Now they're down to 123,000. Every day, we're mining Bitcoin no more than 450 every day. So imagine all these purchases that are happening. And on the right, BlackRock, that's Larry Fink. He is saying that don't be surprised if the price of Bitcoin all of a sudden goes to $700,000. He is the one with his IBIT ETF that is just buying up and buying up. You don't want to mess with this guy. He's a $13 trillion asset under management company called BlackRock. All right, guys, let's dive into it. price predictions and all of that. This is actually live that I just copied over to show you that people are poised to buy. The greed index is at 72 out of 100 as of June 11th, okay? Meaning people are buying, they're not fearful, they're buying. That means right now today, Bitcoin price is at $110,000. It is getting ready to go to the next level, all right? This is why you're here. This is why you're here. I have gone through the trouble of creating this Excel spreadsheet. I have 3 sheets to show you, okay? The one you're looking at is the BTC price prediction based on Bitcoin price was less than a penny, so the percentage of growth was tremendous, right? 9,900% growth in 1 year. Then you got 1,400% growth, and then you got another 8,000% growth in 2013. But let's look at recent history, okay? Let me scroll down so we can understand what we're talking about here. Look at 2023. Bitcoin annually grew about 158%, okay? 2024, 123%, and we're in 2025. All right, so let's take what Michael Saylor is saying as a conservative growth, and he says that is annual percentage growth of 30% every year. So we're in 2025 sitting at around $110,000, all right? So let's say this year we grow 50% because there's a lot of hype going on. And this is a very conservative call, guys. That means by end of 2026, we're looking at around $165,000 Bitcoin. So if you keep compounding this every year, and I want your eyes to go to year 2030, 471,000, okay? 471,000. This is only growing at 30% every year. You and I know that it is going to grow a lot more than that. But a conservative growth in 5 years, guys, in 5 years, you get to $471,000 per Bitcoin. All right, let's move on to the moderate growth, and let's see if I can explain that. We're sitting at 2025. It's at 110,000. Let's say all the hype is going on for these next 3 years. We see a 75% growth this year. Next year, we see 125% growth, and we see 100% growth. So that gets us 192, 143, and then we slow it down to 50% growth. And then we slow it down another 50% here, and then rest make it just 30%. Back to the first one you saw, right? So that takes me to $1.9 million in 2030 based on these models. Now let's look at more aggressive. That's what people really think is going to happen because everybody that I just showed you and then some are buying up like there is no tomorrow. So let's say, again, starting at 110,000, we have a 200% growth. Then by end of 2026, you're looking at 330,000. Then you keep going, 100% again, then drop it to 50%. Then you drop it to 50% and back to down to 30%. So what I'm doing is the first 2-3 years, very aggressive growth, slow it down, and then back to normal growth. So what that takes me is by end of 2030, I'm at $4.45 million. Are you with me? Now let's talk about 2035. So let's go back to the standard growth. Using the same formula, using 30%, 30%, 30%, 30%, 30% growth. At the slowest pace, below average, we get to $1.7 million per coin in 10 years, guys, in 10 years. 2030, 471, 2035, 1.7 million. Let's go to the moderate growth. Again, keep growing at 30%. In 10 years, one Bitcoin is $7.2 million. And in 2030, $1.9 million. Okay? One more, guys. So continue growing 30%, 30%, 30%, 30%, 30%. Oh my goodness. It is very realistic. Michael Saylor thinks so, and many others think so, that by 2035, one Bitcoin is going to be $16.5 million. And 2030, using this aggressive model, is $4.45 million. Guys, thank you for watching. I really enjoyed sharing all of these things with you, and I'm super excited about Bitcoin. Please subscribe, like, and leave me some comments, and I look forward to responding to all your comments. And thank you very much. Take care. Bye-bye.